Good day, everyone. This is another wonderful day to be with you. This is another day to be thankful for and appreciate being healthy and alive, and a wonderful experience to learn how lifestyle medicine can positively impact our health and the quality of our lives. Welcome to another episode of Quality Life, Your Choice. Today we will have this Teaching Kitchen episode, and I am Dr. Michelle Palma. Together with me is my assistant, Margaret. Today we will be learning some of the recipes that we will teach you. This is repurposing food. Again, when we mean repurposing food, is that using your food as medicine. So I promise that today we will be preparing some of the foods that we used to eat. It's just that we will be giving you healthy substitutes. Alright, so as you can see in our table right now, we will be preparing 4 recipes. Okay, so now we will be making banana blossom patty. This is a very nice substitute for any burger made of meat. Okay, so this has no saturated fat, and this is full of fiber that is really absent in any burger patty that you can find in the market. So our ingredients here are the following. We have 1 cup of banana blossom cut. This is fresh banana blossom, and this time of pandemic, you can actually keep your banana blossom. I had this for over 2 months already, and it's in my fridge, and it's still good, and we can still use it. So here, first we have again 1 cup of banana blossom, and then we also have 1 cup of oatmeal flour. So it's very easy to create your oatmeal flour. You just have to put your oatmeal, whatever source you have in your pantry this time. It can be your quick cooking Quaker oats, or it can be your rolled oats, okay? So you just have to put this in your food processor and then blend them, okay? So until you get the consistency like that of a flour. And then we also need 1 tablespoon of spring onions chopped. We also need 1 tablespoon of tomatoes. This is diced tomatoes. And then we also have here 1 tablespoon of onion, diced onion. And then we have 1 tablespoon of garlic, minced garlic. And of course, we have a bit of a water, okay, just to have the good consistency of the patty that we need, okay? So we only need a bowl like this to mix all the ingredients, and then we just have this spatula to mix all the ingredients. All right, so Margaret, maybe you can help us out. So here you just have to pour banana blossom, and then next here is our oatmeal flour. Okay, thank you. And then we have the spring onions, everything there. Okay, and then we have the tomatoes, and we have the onion, and we have our garlic. Okay, so this is very easy. Just give it a good stir to combine all ingredients, and then this is the right time for us to add our water. Okay, good. So you just have to look at the consistency if it's already okay with you. If it's not, then you can add more water into it. And then this is the right time for us to add then the rest of the ingredients, which is black pepper and then salt, just to season it. Okay, so here we season it with black pepper. Sometimes it's really nice to have your patty a bit spicy. So you can use your black pepper to do it, and then season it with salt. It really depends on how salty you want it to be. And then just mix them all together. And now this is ready. So you have 2 options. You can either throw this to the oven. Of course, you have to preheat your oven to about 250 degrees centigrade, and then just place it there. And it will cook depending on how thick your patty would be. It could cook in about 15 to 20 minutes and you're done. So that is 0 oil, okay? So no fat at all. But if you don't have oven in your house right now, you can just fry it. You can also use non-stick pan, but if you don't have non-stick pan, then you can put some or a little bit of an oil and then fry them, okay? Like if you have a lot of banana blossom, because there are there are areas in the Philippines right now that has lots of banana blossom. You can also cook this by batch. All right, so that means you may prepare a lot of this, and then you can also put this in a steaming pot. And so you can steam them, and then you can preserve them in the fridge. It can stay for over a month. So here we have the patty ready, and then we will put this in the oven. Or another thing is we can fry this over the pan. Alright, so while our burger patty is in our oven, while waiting for it, this is the right time for us to prepare our vegan mayo. Okay, so the only ingredients that we will be using, first we have 2 blocks of tofu, and then lemon. We wanted the juice, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is optional. Whatever kind of sweetener you may have, you may use your honey, agave, or maybe dates to also do. And then we also have dash of black pepper, and then we also have 1/2 teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon of your salt, depending on the saltiness that you like. Okay, so in this recipe we only need a bullet blender, or any blender will do. Okay, so we just have to put our tofu here in our bullet blender. So ideally we have to if your blender is not industrialized, then you have to mash your tofu first, although this is not really so firm and it can be managed by a bullet blender. So you can always buy your tofu from the wet market. You can buy this from the grocery store, or if you want, you can also make your own tofu from scratch. So watch out for the upcoming episodes that we have in our teaching kitchen, because we will be teaching you how to make your own tofu at home. So this vegan recipe is so simple. Once finished, you can store this in the fridge, and this can stay for over 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, depending on the temperature that you have in your fridge. Okay, so we have our tofu here right now, and so we just need our lemon juice. So approximately you will be needing about 2 tablespoons of your lemon juice in this recipe. So this will provide you the sourness. Okay, next here is we just have to add our sugar. And then, of course, our black pepper and our salt. Now, we also have here optional ingredients. We have here nutritional yeast. This will give you the cheesy-like taste. If you don't have this in your pantry, that's not a problem. Again, like I said, this is optional. So you can put about 1 to 2 tablespoons of this. And then another optional ingredient here is oil. You may use olive oil, extra virgin oil, pomace olive oil if you are intending to make this stay for over 3 weeks. But if you're going to use it right away, then you don't need to put oil. Okay? So in this time, I'm not going to put oil. And then another ingredient that we may use here is plain mustard. Okay? So if you want that bitter taste in the vegan mayo, then we can add mustard to it. Then we just have to throw this in the blender. Yeah, it's thick. Let's check. So this is just the right texture that we want for a vegan mayo. Okay, so after 15 minutes, our burger patty made of banana blossom is already ready. So again, like I said earlier, you can cook them over the pan or in your oven. Okay, so here we have our banana blossom patty. Okay, so you will see the consistency when it's cooked in the oven. It's kind of dry, but if you want it to be juicy, then it has to have some oil, right? So, but we're getting rid of the excess oil. So the best method of cooking is putting them in the oven. All right. So here we will be making the Clubhouse sandwich. So of course we will be needing the bread. And then we have the lettuce with us. And then you can also put some onions and then your tomatoes, or if you have some cucumbers, you can use them as well. All right. So, and then we will be needing the vegan mayo that we just created earlier. So here's the vegan mayo that we made earlier. So we need this in creating our vegan Clubhouse sandwich. All right. So first we just have to assemble. We have here our bread, and then we just have to put the vegan mayo. Just put your desired amount. It can be as thick as you want or as thin as you want. So there are some options where you can improve your vegan mayo. You can also add some cucumber relish if you want to add some sweetness to it. But this one, plain vegan mayo, is already good enough. All right, so we just have to put there the mayo. And then the next thing is to put our lettuce. Margaret, maybe you can put here the patty. One patty over there. There you go. And then you can put some tomatoes. And then the onions. One more. All right, and then another pair of bread with the mayo. And this is so simple. Put it right there. Okay, and then we just need to cut the sandwich. This is optional again. If you're gonna eat them as a whole, then that's not a problem. All right, and then we can serve it here. So there you go. We have our Clubhouse sandwich. The next recipe that we will make here is a very simple sweet potato wrap. So we have a lot of variations in serving your salads, remember? So sometimes if you eat salads 3 times in a day, it's really necessary to have some strategy and to be artistic enough on how to use those ingredients and how to feed them to your family. So this is one very simple way to tweak some of those recipes. So you just have to have all the salad ingredients you have and put them in a wrap. But where do you get your wrap? Usually we buy it from the department stores or from the grocery store, right? So all of those has, of course, they have preservatives because just to have a long shelf life. But again, you can make your own wrap in the house, just having 2 ingredients. And what we have here is any type of sweet potatoes, and then you have your oatmeal flour. Okay, so it's just like the oatmeal flour that we used earlier. Now, if you don't have oatmeal in the house, then you can use any types of flour that you have in your pantry. Okay, so basically we just need equal portion of your sweet potatoes and an equal portion of your oatmeal flour. All right, so we just have to put our sweet potato here, and then we just have to mash it. Now remember that the sweet potato should be boiled so that we can reach a soft consistency as much as possible. It has to be soft and not dry. All right, so you just have to mash the sweet potato first before you add your flour or your oatmeal flour. You're eating this kind of wrap, Margaret, right? So here, this is just ready. And then we add same proportion of your oatmeal flour. And then if you think you need some water to be added, then you can add some water. All right, and then the next thing that we're gonna do here is to knead the sweet potato mixed with our oatmeal flour. Okay, so I think we just reached the right consistency, and this is ready as a dough. All right, so in this stage, we need our hands here. Okay, you just have to make a dough out of it. Alright, so we already have the dough here. You just have to make a good consistency of your dough. And then, of course, we will be needing your board and, of course, your roller. And we will be also needing portion of your oatmeal flour because we have to make a shape of a wrap. So I'm only making one wrap here. And we need the roller. So you just need to dash some of your flour on the board so that it won't stick on the board. And then until it reaches a consistency of about 2 millimeters thin, okay? So it's just plain and simple. We don't add any salt, we don't add any sugar, no preservative at all, just 2 ingredients. No oil at all. So again, like I said earlier, if you think your sweet potato is a bit dry, then you have to use water. But in this case, it's just okay. And so as you can see, we didn't add any water. So be careful not to add too much of a flour. Otherwise, your wrap will be hard, when you cook them. So we want it soft as well. Okay, so here, just about 1 to 2 millimeters thin. And then we have to throw it in the pan and just cook it right there. No oil at all. So when we put it in the pan, we just have to make sure that we have to flip it every 1 to 2 minutes. So here, you can choose to use your non-stick pan or any stainless pan will also do. Okay, so this is the way you cook your wrap in a low temperature. Most probably in about 1 to 2 minutes you will be flipping it over, and then in about 5 minutes you will be done. Okay, so but if you want to make a potato chips out of the same ingredients, then you can chop this into whatever forms you want and then put them on the pan and then just cook them the same way. But this should be longer, all right? So until we reach the consistency and the crispiness that you want. Okay, so we have here finished product. So we have here the sweet potato wrap, and then we also have the sweet potato chips. Okay, so this time we will assemble our salad wrap. So we have our sweet potato wrap already ready here. So earlier we made our vegan mayo, if you remember. And so another ingredients that we need here are diced tomatoes and then diced onions. And then we will be needing our seaweeds here, and then our lettuce and any leftover viand you have in the house. So this one I have here, this is vegan afritada. So this is made of gluten, but you can also use the banana blossom patty that we had earlier. You just have to chop it into small pieces so that we can add this into our salad wrap. Okay, so we just have to assemble. We have here our sweet potato wrap, and then we just have to put here our mayo, just enough. Okay, so just spread it around. Okay, and then we just have to add our tomatoes, and then our onions. So for kids, they don't really like onions, so you can skip them. And then we just have to add our seaweeds here. So this will add up umami taste in your wrap. And then of course we have to put our leftover any vegan viand that you have. So if you have tofu, then you can use tofu. If you have your, like the banana blossom patty earlier, we can use them as well. And then lastly, we can put our lettuce over. So you just tear the lettuce right size, and then we just have to wrap it. So you can also use a toothpick to keep the wrap. As simple as this. There you go. We have our salad wrap. Okay, and the last recipe for today is mulberry juice. So we have very simple ingredients, again, coming from our own garden. Okay, so except for one, which is lemon. So we have here lemon juice. We have the mulberry, the fruits, and then we have mint from the garden. It really depends on how minty you want it to be. And then this is an additional and optional ingredient. Any form of sweetener will do. If you have honey, you can use honey. You can use brown sugar, muscovado, cocoa sugar, or no sugar at all. Okay, so we will not use sugar. So all you need to do is to put some water in your blender, and then we just have to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so we just have to put our mulberry. Of course, you just have to wash it first and then put it here. You can put as much as you want because this is already sweet as long as you harvest them ripe. Okay, so there you go. We have our mulberry, and then we can add some mint leaves, fresh mint leaves. Again, this can be optional because you may not have your mint at home right now, but I really advise you to plant some mint. It's really easy to propagate this. You just have to buy one pot, and then you just have to cut and then plant them, and it can propagate very easily. Okay, so we have just enough mint here, and then we have our lemon. So we squeeze the lemon juice. All right, and then we throw this to the blender. Again, if you want your sweetener, you can add any sweetener. But in this case, we're not using any because our mulberry here is already sweet enough. Okay, you just have to blend like about less than a minute, and then we're done. So just remember, whenever you prepare your juice, you have to consume it right away. Or otherwise, you have to add some ice to preserve the antioxidants, to preserve the anthocyanin that has in it, okay? Okay, so here we go. This is our mulberry juice. You can easily propagate your mulberry tree. You just have to find the cuttings, and then you just have to plant it. In less than 6 months, it will give you very nice fruits, and this will be whole year round. So here you go, your naturally produced mulberry juice. Always remember that living a healthy lifestyle is the cheapest way you can provide yourself the best medical health care. Consider taking your baby steps towards a healthy behavior change, because having a disease can lead to crisis and potential disaster. We'd like to see you again in our next episode. Quality life, your choice.